research. What do I mean when I say we need to talk about the importance of research? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do our homework today. Now, all of the information is available on the internet, but here's the complicated, frustrating part. The information is often quite contradictory. You get one source claiming one thing and another source claiming another thing. For example, when we talk about ObamaCare and we talk about the rate of premiums, health insurance premiums, and one paper will say premiums are going down, and another rate will say premiums are going up. To be clear, if you're older, premiums are going down. If you're younger, premiums are going up, which means the young are going to subsidize the older. And I made my comment already about how that's despite the fact that the older folks are gaining more wealth because of an increase in the amount of Social Security they're getting, and because, even considering the fact that they've had, over 6 decades to save money for all of their expenditures, well, we've had virtually no time, those of us under 30, to save for our expenditures, and yet we're footing the bill, even though well over a quarter of us are considered poor. Just putting that out there, and I think that the parents of younger folks would be sympathetic to this, and I even think the grandparents would too. But getting back to research, when you note that one media organization is going to point out the lower rates, the lower premiums, and say premiums are getting lower, whereas another news organization is going to point to a higher premium and say it's higher, the best media organization would tell you both, and they're not. So, I'm a political candidate for New Jersey legislature, and I'm offering you better facts, a better report than any journalist I'm aware of in the world. Just pointing that out there. And if somebody wants to challenge my accuracy and my objectivity, I am open to it. I'm just saying that out of all the research I've done, I've not found somebody who would give you both sides of the story like that. I'm not slanting and saying, oh God, Obamacare is just causing higher premiums, or oh, Obamacare is just causing lower premiums. I'm telling you that it's higher premiums for younger people and lower premiums for older people, so that you have the facts. I want to give you another example of why research and diligent, thorough research is so important for all of us, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk a little bit more about Syria. Now, the President of the United States spoke before all of us tonight, or all of us who watched, and said, Bashar al-Assad, who is the President of Syria, is using chemical weapons on his own people. And therefore, we, the United States, must act militarily and strike the Assad regime and seize their chemical weapons. Now here's the interesting thing about all of the rhetoric that President Obama has offered us. How much has he honestly told us about the Syrian opposition and how divided the Syrian opposition is? For example, what consists of the Syrian opposition? He hasn't really talked much about it at all. And yet, I could tell you 3 groups that exist within the Syrian opposition. You've got Al-Qaeda, you've got the Muslim Brotherhood, and then you've got the Kurdish Democratic Party. Now here's something interesting. The Kurdish Democratic Party, which exists in Syria, They are opposed to the Assad regime. They want the Assad regime removed. But they are coming out and saying Bashar al-Assad did not use chemical weapons against his own people. They're saying, in fact, that other factions within the opposition forces used chemical weapons on their own people and used chemical weapons on Assad's military. But Obama doesn't care to point that out to you because clearly, for reasons that are beyond my comprehension, I can only speculate, for reasons beyond that, Obama really just wants to flex our military muscle on Syria and get involved in that civil war. My fear is this, pointing out to you that Al-Qaeda is one of the many groups within the opposition forces. If President Obama gets involved militarily in the Syrian civil war and somebody else retaliates against us, Russia or China get involved or Iran, we would have chaos, which would make it very easy for Al-Qaeda to do what they want with chemical weapons which would come and could very easily hurt all of us here in the United States. We must make sure that absolutely doesn't happen. Getting back to the point of research, if you just listen to what the president says, it's very easy to say, no problem. The Syrians want to hurt their own people. We're not going to worry about whether the president is telling us the truth or not. We're just going to take the president at his own word. But if we do our homework and go on the internet and look at all of the different resources, we find that the president is omitting a lot of essential factors, which is very problematic to me. Very problematic to me, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope it's problematic to you. I would further like to point out that the president has all but lost his credibility in my eyes when you consider the fact that he went into Syria, we took our military and we got involved in a situation in Libya, and within a year we had our own ambassadors murdered because of a terrorist attack in Libya, and the president, to this day, nor the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton or anybody else involved in that situation has told us the truth about what happened in Benghazi. In fact, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said, "What does it matter?" Very audacious claim from somebody we pay to tell us the truth. But that's under the that's under the work of President Barack Obama, pointing that out there. Well then, what about the situation in Egypt, where we supported the Muslim Brotherhood, and not only did we support them morally, and I use we in a very general sense, I mean the government, because I certainly did not support the Muslim Brotherhood, since they're an umbrella organization for Al-Qaeda, but that point being pushed aside for now. Billions of our tax dollars were allocated to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt from Congress and the President, despite the fact that that group was evil for obviously being a resource for Al-Qaeda, and the fact that they were not stable. So we wasted billions of dollars on an unstable, evil government. And the President of the United States, Barack Obama, has no remorse. I tell you, based on these two considerations alone, his judgment when it comes to the policies that we have in the Middle East are not credible. And so therefore, what he's saying about Syria now, we cannot take seriously whatsoever. And we're going to have to rely on our Congress and communicate with our Congress and make this point known to our Congress to make sure that they prevent him from taking any kind of military action on Syria. Now, thank God, Russia is doing everything they can to prevent us from striking Syria. Thank God. And I hope that whatever is done between Russia and Syria, that Russia prevents this. And it's strange because Russia's not perfect whatsoever. But for our they're doing more for our national security than we are, which is extremely ironic. And again, I say that despite the fact that I'm no fan of many of Russia's policies whatsoever. I want to reiterate to you that you see here today that my goal is to give you all of the facts when I pitch policy proposals to you. And I want you to know that a lot of politicians don't do that. They take sound bites from the media and throw you biased, sloppy policies. I don't. And neither does my running mate, Don DeZarn. So I hope that you will get Don DeZarn and I elected to the New Jersey State Legislature. To do this, we're going to need your help, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to need you to do things like put these bumper stickers everywhere, not just on your cars. We're going to need you to hand these out to your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, etc. As these palm cards outline our policy proposals. You've also got to make sure that you're registered to vote. And remember, if you need any of this, you let me know, and I will get it to you. Also remind you that we have a fundraiser at an ice cream parlor called Scoopers in East Windsor, New Jersey, this Saturday from 5 to 10. We can't wait to see you there. And last but not least, we have a rally coming up on October 14th, 2013, in front of the State House in Trenton, New Jersey, calling for improving our educational standards, specifically abolishing the Common Core State Standards Initiative and bringing school education back to local government, to the school boards, the parents, the teachers, and the administrators. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. May God bless the state of New Jersey, and may God bless America.